In today's Leeds news, Leeds Muharemovic Position, Gudmundsson addresses his future, new deals for academy prospects, Shea Charles close or done, rumour mill stories on Kane van Oevelan and Oumar Solet. Monday the 13th of July at the Leeds View. Jer here with your daily Leeds United news. We do these Monday to Friday as well as a transfer wrap up at the weekend. We're part of the Sports Social Podcasting Network and you can support the channel by liking or subscribing on YouTube or giving us a follow and channel rating on the audio platforms. There's a bit of stuff to get stuck into today. Things are going to change quickly, so all the information is as of time of recording down in the bottom corner of your screen. Before we start today's news, I want to bring your attention to a charity event that's happening on July 13th for Elliot James Bransby. His father David has been running a Elliot James Bransby Memorial Shield every year since unfortunately Elliot passed away. Elliot was a Leeds United season ticket holder in the Cop. It's a fantastic event. It takes place on the 13th of July. As I said, it's £5 for adults, it's free for kids, and you'll get a chance to meet some Leeds United legends who'll be involved in the game as well as some local celebrities. You can get information over on their Instagram page, which will be linked down below, as well with the ticket link for this. We'll be speaking to David on the podcast during the week as well to give you more information on this. Not just a game of football, there's some music, there's some raffles and prizes to be given away as well. So you can get involved in that and support a fantastic charity for one of our own if you want to do so down below. We got a bit of stuff to get stuck into today. We'll start off with the Muharemovic position. So again, as I say, things are going to change rapidly this week. Players are back in, so everything's going to move really, really quickly. So if reports are to be believed, the Tarek Muharemovic links took a huge step forward over the course of the last 24 hours. Fabrizio Romano and Gianluca Marzio both posted major updates on this within a couple of hours of each other. And of course, Team Talk got involved this morning for that little tap in at the very end. This has kind of come out of the blue, this story, which is very in keeping with how Leeds do their transfers, but it has rapidly accelerated over the last 24 hours. Romano followed up his Saturday exclusive tweet with an update on this. Now, the initial one had some amount of cold water poured on it from the Yorkshire Evening Post, who said that there was interest in the player, but hadn't moved beyond that. Now, Romano says the Leeds at this point now have presented a verbal contract proposal to Muharemovic and are pushing to close this deal this week. Leeds are said to be confident of being able to get a deal done. Now, there are two other clubs involved in this and possibly even a third one coming into it. Bournemouth and Sunderland are said to have at least held talks. Newcastle have now also been mentioned as trying to speak to his representatives. But Sassuolo and Leeds are believed to continue talks today and tomorrow. Reports from Di Marzio claim that Leeds are in discussions around personal terms with his representatives, with negotiation on a fee to be finalised. Now, there seems to be speed and confidence behind this move right now. Graham Bailey has gotten involved this morning for Team Talk and he's added his 2 cents into the well, and he said the Leeds are willing to meet the €40 million asking price. That's about 36.5-ish million pounds, depending on your latest conversion rate, which would make him Leeds' record signing after Jorginho Rutter. Bailey's also confirmed from his sources that positive talks have been held. Now, unverified reports claim that there's a contract on the table that will offer him £57,500 per week. That is unverified, should say that, make that really, really clear. As I say, Sunderland and Bournemouth are also said to be in talks with the players' camp. Newcastle are rumoured to be interested as well. Juventus obviously have a huge part to play in this as well. They've got a 50% sell-on in the player, so they would get €20 million, 18-ish million pounds, if this deal is to go through, and if that fee and that price tag is true, which again, at this moment in time, hasn't been verified and hasn't been confirmed. You will see me looking to my left regularly this morning because things can change really quickly. We've seen that with the Aston Villa and Newcastle situation over the weekend. But in the last 24 hours, this has gone from agent talk to rumour into contract talks very, very quickly. Crucially on this, nothing been said by the YP, The Athletic or Leeds Live this morning as of time of recording. And that could be because something's happening and they're preparing stuff to put out, or it hasn't really moved, but they haven't shot it down. They did shoot it down over the weekend. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one and see where it goes. But it could be one of two deals the Leeds are pushing to get done this week. Before we get to the other one, let's give you an update on Gabriel Gudmundsson's future at Leeds. So as the players return today, Gabriel Gudmundsson has addressed speculation about his future over the weekend, and the links to Chelsea continue to rumble on, at least on the Chelsea side of the media. Gabbi was asked about the situation. He's given a fairly lengthy answer. He's kind of given a similar answer to he gave in the World Cup, but then also followed it up with some information that would be nice to hear from Leeds' perspective. He said this: I haven't had a focus on it because there's been so much with Leeds, the World Cup, and now I've become a father. So I've really zoned out of that part of football. But it's nice that they see me as an alternative, and it's a sign that something good has been done. Then we'll see what happens. But I'm happy where I am. Everything is so professional. We have enjoyed ourselves since the first second we got here. So we are very happy with the choices and are looking forward to what is to come. Hand on heart, I can say that Leeds fans are the best in England, and they have supported us in a really good way this season. I don't think you understand how big the club is until you are in it. That's probably as close as you're going to get to a public commitment from any footballer, doing the usual managing of expectations, flattered to be interested with the club, happy where I am. Standard stuff from a player being linked, especially very publicly being linked with a move to another club. Hugely important for Leeds, massively important on that left-hand side of how Leeds play. We definitely need cover over there as well. Leeds can't afford to lose another natural left-sided player after Pascal Struijk. So yeah, fingers crossed that's gone away or will go away. I can't see Leeds selling them. It'd be mad. It has to be a crazy offer for Leeds to allow him to move on. But there you go. That's the update on Gabbi Gudmundsson as of right now. Let's talk about some academy contracts. So Callum Mills signed his first pro deal for the club. That's been now followed by an absolute flurry of new contracts and some very important ones, some key ones to keep an eye on as well. First one to talk about, we mentioned him briefly at the back end of last week, Sam Alker. Sam has been targeted by several Premier League 2 and Category 1 academies over the past couple of months, and he's an England under-17 international. He has signed a 2-year deal at Leeds that will run until 2028. That is the longest term deal a player can sign at his age, but it does mean that Leeds will be able to hang on to him for a little bit longer. He made his under-21 debut last season as well, and is expected to be stretched again this year with far more under-21 games, possibly even just being involved purely with them in the 18s next season. The second one to keep an eye on here is Luke Marijkevic. He's also signed a 2-year deal at the club until 2028. He's been part of Northern Ireland's under-21 setup. He was very good last season in the games that I watched him for the under-21s. Big, physical, mobile centre back. I would expect an awful lot from him this season as well. So good to get those two locked down. Him along with Sam Alker, for me, are the two to keep an eye on next season, along with maybe a Jake Howard as well. Other deals that have been signed. Jacob Brender has signed an extension to his contract that will run until next summer. And that's a further endorsement of the performances that he put in for Scott Gardner's side last season. Louis Whitehead has signed his first pro deal, 2-year deal as well until 2028. A solid decision being made by the club there. And Jack Morris has signed a 1-year extension to his contract that will run until the end of the upcoming season. So 5 new deals signed already, probably a few more to come. Brilliant news on Sam Alker and Luke Marijkevic. Interested to keep an eye on Jake Howard's situation as well. He could already be under a contract. I couldn't see the information on it. But if he's already locked down, nothing to worry about. He's an England under-17 captain as well. Very good last season in the under-21s for a very young age. So couple to keep an eye on there. We'll give you more news on more deals as and when they come out. Let's talk about Shea Charles and some information we received this morning. I do want to be really clear on this one. We don't tend to put out this kind of story because we're not journalists and we're not a breaking news outlet. But we did get some information from a very credible source this morning who has contacted us that Leeds United are in a very positive position with Shea Charles, possibly even getting very close to a done deal, if not already done. The information that was shared with us over the weekend and this morning says that Leeds United are believed to be close to getting this deal done, or even announcing it as being done very, very shortly. Now, obviously, things can change rapidly in football. I do have to put that out there because I don't like doing these kind of stories. You've seen it with Aston Villa and you've seen it with Newcastle in the Swiss midfielder that they both went for, and Aston Villa gazumped them at the last minute when Newcastle thought they had the deal done and dusted. And as I say, we don't normally put this stuff out there. I'd rather be credible and accurate than first for any stories. But all indications from the information that we received from someone that I tend to trust is that this deal is either very, very close to being done or is done. And what we've been told is the info we received that Crystal Palace and Fulham have not put in a formal bid despite being interested in the player. They're not actively pursuing him. It's just interest from their sides. And Southampton still need a sale. Leeds United appear to be the only club that have put a formal figure on the table. And Southampton are believed to have now agreed to Leeds United's requests. And Charles, as we know, wants the move. So if you take that into consideration, and as I say, things can change. I'm not a journalist. I'm just giving you the information that we've got. We'll see what happens. But all of that seems to suggest this deal is either done or very, very close to being done and could be announced imminently, which could be any day between now and Wednesday. So we'll see what happens with that. But Leeds are pushing to get 2 deals done this week, Muharemovic and Shea Charles. So that could be done and dusted. I stuck this in the middle of the news because I'm not trying to be clickbait. There you go. You can decide yourself whether you believe that or not, and we'll see what happens. I trust the person that's told me this morning, so they're in the game. So we'll see. Let's move on and get into the rumour mill stuff. Much more comfortable in the rumour mill territory, talking about players that may or may not actually be linked with Leeds United. And we'll start off with Kane van Oevelen, 22-year-old goalkeeper, 6'6" in height, Dutch, plays for FC Volendam, and has been linked as a player of interest for Leeds United this morning by Dutch outlet Feyenoord Transfer Markt, to be relatively credible in the Dutch leagues. They claim that Leeds United and Ipswich Town have interest in the FC Volendam goalkeeper Van Oevelen, but Valencia are also believed to have made contact with his representatives. The Volendam were relegated from the Eredivisie last season. The player is said to be available, and it could be for as little as €2 million, about 1.7-ish million pounds. Contract runs until 2028, and it could see him come in potentially as a number 2 for Leeds if they do have to get a second goalkeeper in, which if the Lucas Perry to Torino talks today are true, then Leeds will need a second choice goalkeeper as well. He's represented by an agency called CAA, who tend to generally just represent elite level footballers or players with elite level potential. So that gives you some indication of what kind of a goalkeeper he is. Was said to have had a very, very strong season last year. I don't watch a lot of Eredivisie. Ben Locklocky Leeds is the man who talked about that. He does watch a lot of the Eredivisie, but no contract steps just yet. Another name to add to your list right now, but as I say, pretty highly rated at this moment in time. So another one to add to the list, and we'll see where that one goes. But competition for his signature should they decide to make a move. Let's talk about Oumar Solet. Solet or Solet. He's French, so I'm going with Solet because, again, don't know the pronunciation of the name. 25 years of age, 6'3" in height, left-sided centre-back, French under-21 international, joined Udinese from Red Bull Salzburg, made 50 appearances last season in Serie A. Transfer value is rumoured to be in and around 30 to 40 million euro, so that's about, again, 27 to 35-ish million pounds, whatever the conversion is. His contract currently runs until 2028. Italian journalist Francesco Guerrieri, who covers Serie A transfers, reported this morning that Leeds United have strong interest in Solet and contact is underway with his representatives. Inter Milan are also said to have some level of interest in the centre-back as well, as are Juventus, who are both keeping an eye on his current situation. Pinch of salt territory on this one because he's a left-sided centre-back, so is Muharemovic, and you just can't see Leeds United splurging 60 to 80 million euro, a lot of money of your budget, on 2 left-sided centre-backs going into the season. Maybe it's a backup option, maybe it's one of the two of them, but relatively credible source within Italian circles, when it goes outside of Italy, tends to get a bit more watered down. So at the moment, very much back page, subcontext story right now, and a pinch of salt territory. But we'll see where it goes. But you can look him up if you want to. Oumar Solet and Kane van Oevelen. 2 to watch this week seem very much to be Shea Charles and Muharemovic as well. So they're developing really, really quickly. And we'll, as I say, players are back in pre-season training today. So you would imagine this stuff's going to start picking up as they try and get their players in for as much of the pre-season camp as they possibly can to get ready for the start of the Premier League season. That'll be the news today. Try and get a podcast out to you later on and give you an update on where everything is. Keep an eye out for that. Outside of that, have a great rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon. See you later.